Well, folks, we've reached the final activity. Let's get right to it, shall we? Here I have a blank calendar for the first 5 weeks of my class. We know the first week is dedicated to community building, so I'll mark that out really quick. We also know the assessments that we planned out in the last activity and approximately where they're going to fall. So let's put that on the schedule too. Excellent. Now, this project has 3 major goals related to reading academic literature, understanding basic immunology, and crafting a 2-minute argument. That means I need to teach students how to do that and, give them some practice along the way. I actually think I have a way to do this using problem-based learning objects, or PBLOs. A PBLO is basically a mini case study. You introduce students to a problem, give them some information related to that problem, context for what they're being introduced to. And then they work together to perform independent research and create a solution to that problem. I think PBLOs are a great fit here because they allow students to practice all 3 of my project goals before submitting their project to Truths and a Lie. So I'm using PBLOs to not only introduce students to these basic immunological concepts, but to also give them practice engaging with academic literature and crafting short arguments. So I'm basically using these mini case studies to model how to select evidence and craft a 2-minute argument. Now, I also know that I ultimately want students to be driving their own learning. This ties back to that long-term vision here that we talked about in the second activity. The second iteration of this project is entirely student-directed. So my first PBLO is going to be pretty hands-on as I model expectations. But as we progress, the students will be taking on more responsibility, which ultimately looks like this. The last thing to think about is the feedback schedule. I know when students will be submitting the work, but when will I be giving them feedback on what they've accomplished? Now, some things to consider when scheduling this are: how long will it take me to review the student work and provide meaningful feedback? And how long will students need to incorporate this feedback into their revisions? This is what I'm currently thinking for my feedback schedule. Notice I'm also marking whether this is digital feedback or in-person conversational check-in. Now, I actually prefer to block things out in Google Calendar because I'm a visual person, but this does not need to be the strategy that you use. All right, that is it for my example. Now it is your turn. Share your work below when you're ready, and I'm really excited to see what you have put together.